Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Trevor with Maker Experiment, and in today's video, we're going to be making custom t-shirts. Let's get into it. A few weeks ago, I did a video about vinyl and whether or not you can laser machine it. I will leave a card up in the window to that video so that you can see all about it. Long story short, you can machine some vinyls, specifically the one I'm going to use today, which is a heat transfer vinyl. I did get these from Sizer North America. They did send them to me as samples. They also sent me some shirts to play around with, so I'm going to be trying those out in this video. In order to do this process, you're going to need some of the HTV or heat transfer vinyl. You're also going to need the laser or some kind of cutter if you don't have a laser, and a heat press or iron or something like that to help press the vinyl onto the actual t-shirt. In this one, I'm going to focus on laser machining the vinyl. If you have something like a Cricut or a Cameo, you can use that as well. But I want to show laser owners that you don't have to go out and buy that special machine to cut vinyl. As long as you're using the laser safe kind, you can do that right on your laser. So I'm going to do two different types. I'm going to do one where I actually mimic the same thing as a Cricut or a Silhouette, where I vector cut the design out and then weed out the pieces. This is okay for large designs and fairly simple designs. And then I'm going to take a second one and I'm actually going to laser engrave the vinyl away in order to be able to get the design. And the reason why I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a very complicated design that I do not want to weed because it will take hours, and I'll show you what that is here in a minute. For these two different shirts, I'm going to be using two different kinds of vinyl. The first one is a blue glitter vinyl, and the second one is a holographic vinyl. So I'm going to be making one for each of my older kids because of the shirt sizes I have, and then I will make one for my younger kid later on that's special for him. But we're going to go through, I'll show you the two designs that I'm going to use, which one I'm going to use for which process, and then we will go ahead and make them and see how they turn out. All right, for the first design that I'm going to do, this one is going to be the vector scoring style, which will be similar to the Cricut or Cameo type of cutting. For this one, I am going to be using a Stitch as my spirit animal design. Do not sell this. This is for personal use. You should never use copyrighted items for selling, ever. Not worth it, don't get in trouble. For this design, you'll see that I still have it as the outline because it's going to have to vector cut all those pieces. So that's how this file is set up. The other design I'm going to be doing is this dragon one. Now you can see this one would take forever to weed. All the black is going to be engraved away, and then once it's lasered away, I will just take the whole transfer over. Now there's a lot of trickiness to that process. Hopefully I can get it to work this time. Sometimes it's kind of hit or miss in the results that I get. But there's one trick I will show you that has helped quite a bit in improving that result. First up, I'm going to go with the Stitch design. I'm going to print it over to my laser. So this one I am going to be using the Epilog Fusion Edge. It is a 60-watt machine. I'm using that one because I've spent a lot of time trying to figure those settings out. But I'm going to boot up the machine, insert some settings, and then show you what's going on. While I'm booting the machine up, you'll see that the heat transfer vinyl has two sides. One is a clear side that has the glitter behind it. This is the clear transfer side. And then the back side is more of a matte finish. And this is the machine side. This is the side you want to either laser engrave or laser cut on. So you're actually going to be cutting this upside down, which I kind of showed that wrong here in the design. We actually need to flip it and mirror it. So we will mirror this and then cut it so that we have it correctly when we pull it off. But that's the big tip here. It's kind of like the mirror acrylics. If you've done those, you have to machine everything mirrored design-wise so that you get the correct result at the end. With that in mind, I'm going to flip the design just off camera. I will show you when I go to machine it the correct way. Sorry about the confusion. All right, so typically in the past, I would have seen people just lay this straight on the bed, and you can see at the tops, it kind of pulls up. As you machine it, it will start to lift up. So I do not recommend doing this. I also don't recommend using magnets because it still won't hold it down well enough. What I do recommend is getting a sticky mat like this one. I got mine from Enduramark. I will leave a link in the description to the one that I have. There's also other brands out there that have the same sticky surface. And then I'm going to lay my vinyl on it, and you can see it's already starting to stick. So you have to line it up as you lay it down. And then while you're laying it down, make sure it's nice and smooth and you don't have any weird air bubbles that might cause machining issues. And if you do, you can just lift it up and reposition it until all of those are gone. It does take a little bit of practice. There we go. But you can see this won't pry up anymore. If it's gonna come up, it's gonna come up with the whole mat, like so. But this will keep it down, and it's not so sticky that you can't peel it back up when you're done. Just make sure you focus to this section, and then we'll hop over to the computer and mock up the design. I have everything in the Epilogue dashboard. You will notice that I mirrored it because I forgot to do that the first time. I'm just going to move this to the left so that it sits on the left-hand side of the vinyl, because I want to leave as much room on the right in case I mess something up. Because hedge your bets, sometimes it happens. Next, I'm going to go to my import material settings. This is a glitter one, and I do have a whole list of settings, but I have a couple saved. The first one is the vector, because I'm going to be vector cutting it. And I want to do a glitter. It says cut through here, but I'm going to modify that here in a second. So I'm going to hit import and pull that in. So on my handy dandy cheat sheet, my kiss cut is going to be a speed of 20%, a power of, it says 3%. So we're going to try that first. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back over it. Frequency is going to be 25%. So this is going to be the setting. I'm going to take it to the left a little bit more on the screen. All right, now I'm going to hit print. We'll watch it machine. Then we'll test and make sure I can peel it away. If not, we'll just rerun it again. Not a big deal. There's a lot of just figuring out the settings for vinyl. It's insane how much work goes into it. But let's go over, watch it machine, and then try to make a shirt. Before we go machining the vinyl for the t-shirts, I do want to mention my laser community. So it is at lasersmadesimple.com/community. You can meet with like-minded owners. You can get help with problems that you're having in your projects. You can show off your projects and what you do and everything in between. So that is an open community where we try to boost everybody up, give everybody some more confidence, and help everybody succeed in their businesses. And if you're interested in my membership, which is at lasersmadesimple.com/membership, I do group lives every month that focus on design and business to help you make your business more profitable and make money month over month. So each month you do have dedicated live time with me where we jump on a Zoom call, we will talk everything laser, and if you have any questions, I can help you on there live on camera and do everything I can to help you out. So if you're interested in any of those, check out the links that will be in the description below, or just go to lasersmadesimple.com and everything will be there. I'm not going to bore you too much with this, but I will show that you just take this part, and it looks like some of it's going to peel up. Just gotta be careful when you are weeding it that you don't weed out things you don't mean to. I will say that the glitter is kind of hard to cut through because it's got like an extra texture to it. So just be careful when weeding it. You might have to push some parts down and then peel up the rest. So it is going to take a little while to do it this way. So while the dragon's machining, I will weed this one out and I'll show you when it's done. Next up is the dragon design. So this one I'm going to go ahead and print over to the laser. Again, the black is going to be completely engraved. The red is going to be a cut. I kind of offset this weird on accident, but you get the gist. I'm going to drag it to a free spot, trying to maximize my vinyl material. Now the intent with this is I will engrave everything that's black completely away. So for the black, I'm going to go into engrave. I have a Sizer holographic. The settings for that are 500 resolution, speed of 50, power of 35. You can try 400 and it lowers your time a little bit. I don't know yet. I haven't played around enough with the DPI to know how much different it really is. And then for the red line that I want to cut, I'm going to go to Vector, go to Sizer Holographic Cut Through, and those settings are 20% speed, 4% power, and 25% frequency. So I do want to cut last, so I will make sure that that's the last operation. It takes about 17 minutes. So what we're going to do is send this over, and I will film the process of the dragon while I weed the stitch design, so that when we're done, we should have both of them ready to go for the heat press. Speaking of which, while this does the machining part, I'm going to turn on my heat press so that it can heat up. The holographic, I think, is 305 degrees, but the website has all of the degree settings that you'll need. Just check there and you'll be able to find what you need. So let's go over and machine the dragon. Alright, the dragon just finished. I'm interested to see what happens because it did look like it got all of the surface. I just don't know what's going to happen when I go to transfer it. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and peel all this off. Again, should come right up. I have noticed I've gotten much better results since I started using the sticky mat. Got to be careful though with this one. I should have probably cut it in a square shape for easier peeling, but the less I had to engrave, the better. There we go. Boom. Let's see what happens. I finished the designs. This is the stitch one. I definitely remember how much weeding sucks. That's why I don't like to do it. This is the dragon one, which was all engraved. There's a big trade-off here though. This would have taken a lot longer to engrave than it probably did to weed. This one is the opposite, where it would have taken a lot longer to weed than it did to engrave. Because this took about 17 minutes. This took about 12 minutes to weed. This will probably take over 30 minutes to engrave because of all the dead black space around it. And this one would have taken me probably all night to weed because there's so many small details on it. As far as the heat press goes, it is set to 320 degrees for both the holographic and the glitter designs. Hopefully that will work. That's what it's recommended on the website. It does say to press it for 15 to 20 seconds. So what we'll do is we'll press it, we'll try to peel it, and then if parts stick up, we'll try to repress it and just keep doing that. I'm going to be using a white t-shirt for one, and this one, it looks like they're both cotton. I might fit in it, or I might just be old and not fit in it, but we'll see. Otherwise, it's going to my kids anyway, so it'll be way too big for them. So what we'll do is we'll put this on the platent. I do have a little drawer here. I'm not going to measure anything. I'm just going to try to stick it on there because that's just how I feel like doing it today. I'm going to try to move it up so the collar is over it. And what they recommend doing is just pressing it down for a couple of seconds to make sure that it gets a nice flat shirt to press to. So now it's a nice flat shirt. So I'll go ahead and apply everything. I will change the camera angle so you can see it better. This one is going to get the stitch design, so I'm just going to try to center it to the best of my ability. Again, I'm not using a ruler. I don't have time for that. All right, now that it's down, we will just press it down, lock it in place, and let it sit for 20 seconds so that it will adhere. It will pop open when it's done, and then we'll test it and see what happens. Okay, so the time is up. If I pull this out, change the camera angle here a little bit. The thing that makes me nervous is I don't know if all this glitter sticks too, which I don't want it to. But slowly peel it away. So far, so good. Success! That looks amazing. Oh, my daughter's gonna love that. There we go. There's shirt number one. On to shirt number two. All right, shirt number two is a black one. Same exact cotton. We will see how this one turns out. Again, pre-press it for about 5 seconds maybe. All right, now that it has been pre-pressed, we're going to try to line up the graphic. And now the part that makes me nervous on this one is I engraved it all. There's always the chance that I left a little bit on accident because my settings weren't correct or it just didn't work well enough. That part always is kind of a gamble when you're trying to figure this out. I haven't done more than one with the engraved style, so we'll see if this works. So push it in, clamp it down, wait 20 seconds. I will say the auto open and this drawer are amazing. If you don't have a heat press and you want to get one, I highly recommend this one. I will leave a link if you're interested. All right, so we're gonna try this. I can already tell that there's gonna be a little bit of residue. I don't know if it will come out in the wash. But go nice and slow. And this one's so complicated, it does help to peel from multiple sides. Take your time, be patient. I will probably press this again once I get this film off. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and press it quickly just to help adhere it a little better. Okay. All right. So it did stick everywhere. Looks good so far. We'll see how it holds up. but so far so good. So you just saw the heat press process and a wardrobe change because it worked. Here is the stitch design. The best news about all of this is I'm not too fat to fit in a medium. So it looks good, I like it. My daughter will actually be getting this. It'll be too big on her, but I do like how it turned out. It did work really well. We'll see how it holds up in the wash because I've only done a few actual presses. So I haven't checked the durability long-term of my own pressing. Now the heat transfer vinyl does last a while and it will last multiple wash cycles. It's just if I applied it correctly. The other one is the dragon design. Might be kind of hard to see, but it's got the nice holographic look to it. The one thing on this, and it's going to be hard to see maybe, but there's a little bit of residue just from the engraving. I think it will wash off because it's been just flaking off when I get to it. I'll have to throw it into the washing machine and see if it holds up. It's, again, whether or not I pressed it on well enough, but this method does work really well for a complicated design. Hopefully this video has been helpful. If it has, I would appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that you know when I come out with new videos. And be sure to check out my Instagram @MakerExperiment where I share things along the way. If you have any ideas for future videos or future projects, or if you want to see more heat transfer vinyl stuff, leave those in the comments below. I'm always looking for new ideas for videos that will help all of you improve on your laser skills, or if you just want to see something cool, let me know that as well. I will also leave links to all the products that I use below. Most of them you can get from one place, which is Heat Press Nation. You can check them out. I will leave links to everything that I used. I will say that the heat press is probably one of the best things because it has that auto open. I can actually be doing other stuff and it won't press the shirt too long. So that part's really nice. So if you're interested, those will all be there. With that in mind, I want to thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.